Today, Group C will guide you through the competitive advantages of the low-cost airlines. We will compare the operational capabilities of EasyJet and RyanAir for the European market. You will discover what makes these companies successful in delivering volumes, costs, and performance. We will see how these companies are changing the European airline market. What makes them attractive to millions of European travelers? What makes them competitive compared to flagship companies? How their operations support their strategy and the infrastructure they use for their operation. Along this analysis, you will also learn on the drastic strategic changes of Ryanair, which could make Michael O'Leary the new oligarch of the European airline market by 2024. But what do we know about these low-cost airlines? Value for money is what you think about, right? But there is more to discover. Did you know that last year, nearly as many passengers flew Ryanair than Lufthansa? Then the low-cost airline market is in the position to pass flagship carriers on the European market? That both companies extract profit margins triple these of flagship carriers? That each EasyJet employee handles more 3.5 times more passengers than a Lufthansa employee, and this is 5.5 times for Ryanair. How special are these people? Are they supernatural? The first thing we need to understand is, why do you fly low cost? If this was such a terrible experience, we wouldn't be 170 million passengers flying at either Ryanair or EasyJet. So what's happening?
Now let's see how these two companies are making profits. While Ryanair focuses on increasing the number of passengers and flooding in the European routes, EasyJet focuses on intensive traffic on profitable routes. Both companies, however, lose money for each seat and sell tickets below the full seat cost. Profits come from extra cost that is charged to customers. Ryanair is the best at this game, with the highest profit per seat at 22.6%. Overall, Ryanair is more cost-effective than EasyJet. EasyJet focuses on the most attractive routes and therefore has a high capacity use, which comparatively makes its fuel and navigation costs lower. EasyJet is also better at sales cost due to its high-performing web strategy, and it leases its planes, which is bad for depreciation but good for debt to equity. The big difference is on airport charges. Ryanair tends to operate from secondary and regional airports with lower costs, and they have high volumes and low staff costs, which put it upfront to EasyJet. But what do they sell? Cheap tickets? Well, correct. But there is more. EasyJet focuses on convenience, customer service, and costs, while Ryanair focuses primarily on the costs argument. However, this is changing. Without fundamentally breaking their business model, Ryanair is introducing changes in its service level to customers with extra luggage, priority boarding to business customers, or improvements in their meal or the cabin designs. As part of its Always Getting Better campaign, Ryanair decided to adopt the EasyJet approach to service to customers. EasyJet serves frequently the most profitable 100 European routes, with high frequency at the peak timings. It will propose the best rates that you get through a user-friendly website or mobile app, and they deliver. They deliver quality with 80% on-time performance and 75% customer satisfaction. They deliver flexibility and a very convenient paperless experience. Both companies primarily grew on the leisure market and city trips at the beginning, which makes them very vulnerable to seasonality. But they target to increase the business segment and sign agreements with SMEs and corporations to solve this problem. EasyJet has a new focus on returning travelers and is planning to introduce a frequent flyer program. Currently, 3/4 of returning passengers, they target 80% in the short term. Price, 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 anything but price. How? Costs, anything but costs. In the early day, Ryanair would have you fly on a donkey to the middle of nowhere to ensure lowest costs and lowest prices. Indeed, they revolutionized the market by proposing high frequency from secondary and regional airports. While both companies are applying additional fees for extra luggages, Ryanair is disadvantaged by its fee structure that is bringing your vacation dream down to economic reality. With Ryanair, your infant would cost you 20 euros. But since you forget to print your boarding card and forget to check in online, the extra 60 euros would probably make you getting tense. Hopefully, you don't want to change your name for 110 euros, miss your flight for 100 euros, or carry skis, sport equipment, or sport items, all charged 30 to 50 euros. Oof. Were you flying low cost? However, as part of their customer experience program, the setting is currently being revisited to cut fees for extra luggages and allow to transport sport equipment, and they provide facilities to accommodate business customers. Still, Ryanair's customers are cost educated.
What makes them competitive? Competitive capabilities are pricing, cost containment and frequency optimization for both companies. The direct short haul enable economies on passengers transfer, luggage transfer, catering and entertainment costs. The main differentiation between the two airlines is the choice of airports. Primary airports in high earning countries for EasyJet and secondary and regional airports for Ryanair. However, the current loss of market share and reduced profitability of flagship airlines opens a wide open door for Ryanair to operate also in primary airports. Compared to traditional airlines, both companies achieve extremely high staff passenger ratios, primarily by moving most of the boarding process over the internet. EasyJet is an early adopter of web technologies, but Ryanair is on its way to catch up. Taxes is also a major competitive advantage, with tax rates half of Lufthansa's, and Ryanair has clearly an advantage there. More recently, both companies started investigating feeding traffic to flagship companies for long-haul flights. This strategic move would position them strongly on the international market. However, this involves cost complexities, for example to share revenues, luggage loss or handle delays, and the agreements are hard to negotiate. How they make it happen? These companies fly direct point to point, which has the advantage to remove the need for entertainment and complex catering. In addition, passenger and luggage transfer is simplified. EasyJet achieves high capacity use by continuously optimizing its routes and allowing its planes to jump non-stop from destination to destination instead of coming back and forth. Both companies use optimized boarding procedures with a high frequency turnover. While Ryanair achieves this relatively easily on small airports, using ladders and walking on tarmac, larger airports are more strict due to the high volumes of traffic. EasyJet uses cheaper gates and has optimized the boarding process for their planes to stay as long as possible in the air. Both keep administration expenses very low, since a large share of the process is performed online and the paperless system saves boarding time and staff. EasyJet is leading on technology and has merged its boarding process to its comprehensive digital platform that links to their CRM system. For example, their app system that allows to carry up to 5 tickets on a single phone. Ryanair is behind, but plans to develop a similar system in 2016. The staff is a key component of the cost structure. They are multitasking, highly committed and very flexible. Both companies invested in a new fleet to sustain their growth. Both Airbus and Boeing propose solutions with a larger number of seats and fuel savings. Both companies are amongst the largest buyers for Boeing and Airbus, with high bargaining power. Aligning strategy and culture. One of the multiple elements that make these companies performing so well is their credible staff. While a Lufthansa employee will handle on average 1,950 passengers, the ratio for EasyJet is 6,800 and for RyanAir even 9,500. Despite these low staff ratios for the industry, these super staff deliver quality service on time. While EasyJet has a strong customer focus embedded in the DNA of the company, EasyJet focuses on costs and profits. This focus translates into customer focuses training for EasyJet. RyanAir disrupted the industry practices by introducing productivity pay incentives, with bonuses for onboard sales and salaries based on the actual numbers of hours worked. By doing so, RyanAir incentivizes its staff to increase profit margins, while making staff costs a variable cost. How does that operation strategy translate into infrastructure? What makes it happen? Internet is the primary infrastructure supporting the growth of these virtual companies. The most advanced platforms enable targeted marketing campaigns, site responsiveness to customer profiles, and app push notifications. The main functions are to multiply the engagement with the customer, convert visits in sales, then bring the customer to the plane and beyond through increasing extra paid services. Second is a committed and very multitasking staff that allows to handle large number of passengers with limited workforce. While flagship companies carry a high level of indirect fixed costs, the low-cost companies seek to optimize personal expenses. Indirect fixed staff costs, for example ground personnel, are handled through long-term negotiated agreements at a predictable price, while the onboard personnel is a direct variable cost. The primary cost driver is the number of flying hours. The low-cost companies benefit from a high bargaining power due to the competition between Airbus and Boeing, the economies of scale brought by both suppliers, and the results of innovation driven by strengthened environmental regulations. For both companies, the bargaining power to airports is also very high, due to the profit loss of flagship carriers and the high volumes brought by low-cost companies. Airports are contracted through negotiated long-term agreements.
Low cost, low price, high volumes, or low cost, high frequency on the best routes. Now you can recognize the two very distinct strategies of the two leading low-cost airline carriers in Europe, and possibly soon the leading European airlines as well. We saw how RyanAir is evolving its business model to transform into a very big EasyJet. Their lowest cost profile may be readjusted to do so, and their price advantage may suffer. But would this transformation succeed, RyanAir may very well become the leader of our European skies. This is not the end of the story though. Looking around, we see that flagship carriers identify the threat and they are now reacting. They have not yet fully replicated the competitive advantages of these companies, but they are seeking to transform themselves. The one element that is probably the most difficult to replicate will be the company culture and the staff advantage. Indeed, the social history of flagship companies is very rich and the staff status is a pride. We also see that low-cost competition is extremely virulent, and one may see the landscape changing with further disruptions in the future. So bear with us for future stories.